reappointed Nhlanhla Nene as finance minister, reversing his sacking by the former president Jacob Zuma. Zuma, who is facing charges of corruption, was forced to stand down earlier this month by his own party. President Ramaphosa took over, promising a new dawn for the country and pledging to be tough on corruption. He kept several ministers appointed by his predecessor, but other former allies of the former president were demoted or lost their jobs. Zuma's ex-wife, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, who Ramaphosa beat in December's ANC leadership election, was appointed minister to the presidency. Zuma's 9-year tenure as president was dogged by corruption allegations, while the country struggled with ballooning national debt and high levels of unemployment. Now, Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday met 3 lecturers of the University of Maiduguri and 10 police officers who were released by Boko Haram insurgents more than 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, Nigeria's army and police yesterday publicly disagreed over the security arrangements that were in place in the northeastern town where 110 girls were abducted by suspected Boko Haram militants. The army issued a statement in which it said soldiers were withdrawn from Yobe State before the girls were seized from their school in the town by armed insurgents on the 19th of February. This attack was one of the largest abductions since the Chibok kidnappings of 2014, in which more than 250 girls were taken by the Islamic militant group. It has prompted questions about the ability of security forces to fight insurgents, which the government has repeatedly said have been defeated. Meanwhile, Botswana has blamed Congolese President Joseph Kabila yesterday for his country's humanitarian and security crisis, in the sharpest criticism yet from an African government of his refusal to step down. Western powers have repeatedly criticized Kabila, whose mandate expired in December 2016, but African countries have trodden more gently, urging progress towards delayed elections but avoiding direct condemnation of Kabila. Congo emerged in 2003 from a 5-year war that killed millions, most from hunger and disease, and the current political crisis has contributed to a surge of conflict that has forced millions to flee their homes. At least 22 people, including 15 civilians, were killed in the past 2 days in inter-ethnic clashes in eastern Congo's North Kivu province, a local official has said. Kabila is facing mounting pressure in the streets to organize prompt elections, with security forces killing at least 2 people at a church-led march on Sunday. Now, more than a dozen protesters have been killed since December. Now, beyond Africa's borders, gun owners have taken to social media to destroy their rifles and pistols in response to the Florida high school shooting, where 17 teens and staff members died on the 14th of February. Videos and photographs like the one you're seeing on your screen, shared on Twitter and Facebook using the hashtag #OneLess, showed gun owners breaking different types of guns. Students from the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida, where a 19-year-old former student is accused of going on a rampage, headed to a place on Tuesday to the state capital.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi sharali sadri wa yassirli amri.
Meanwhile, U.S. evangelist Billy Graham, who counseled presidents and preached to millions across the world during his 70 years in the pulpit, lies in repose in his native North Carolina after his death last week at the age of 99. His casket was on public display at his boyhood home, which is at the Billy Graham Library in Charlotte, and where a stream of people arrived to pay their final respects. Graham became the de facto White House chaplain to several U.S. presidents, most famously Richard Nixon. He also met with scores of world leaders and was the first noted evangelist to take his message behind the Iron Curtain.
Na umejikakamua sana kukaa hapa. Viongozi
Now, Chinese smartphone manufacturer Huawei has shown how an artificial intelligence-powered smartphone can drive a car. its Road Reader project, which aims to demonstrate how existing mobile technology is already capable of handling autonomous vehicles, was on display at Mobile World Congress, which is Europe's biggest annual technology industry gathering, yesterday. Using its Mate 10 Pro device, Huawei transformed a Porsche Panamera into a vehicle that can react to objects ahead of it by swerving to avoid them. AI capabilities were originally included in the phone to help it take smarter pictures by anticipating the interests of its users. Over 5 weeks, the phone was taught how to distinguish between 1,000 different objects ranging from cats and dogs to balls and bikes, before learning what the most appropriate action would be if it encountered them on the road. Very interesting. Using a phone to drive a car. Who would have thought that would have been possible? But I wonder how it will deal with some of the unlikely obstacles that come up in the streets of Nairobi. We'll just have to wait and see. Well, you're watching Citizen Extra. Time now for a quick break. When we return, we'll be talking agribusiness. I will also be giving you the latest from the sports desk. Many thanks indeed for staying tuned. Stay with us. We'll be right back.